This is Chris.
And this is David.
Calling Out Gamers, or whatever. Gamer LA. I think that's the other thing that we have going on.
That's the name of the channel.
The channel. Okay, still Calling Out Gamers. I forgot to say, what did I usually say? What's my trademark?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Yeah, so konnichiwa, everybody. I guess David brought this to my attention. We're doing a kind of a retrospective towards PlayStation.
Yeah, the PlayStation brand name. With the coming of this new generation and the PlayStation 4, we felt like I think it was time to give a proper nod to the PlayStations of the past. You know, PS1, the PS2, and pretty much give you our insight and our pretty much reliving the PlayStation of the past.
Yeah, this is good timing because the PlayStation 4 is coming out November 15th, which is what, like
2 days from
2 days
now.
away. Yeah. It's funny because we just came back from a GameStop and we saw this guy waiting that out in line 2 days early. Big commitment, a lot to do. I don't think I could probably do that. Maybe when I was younger, not no more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
Nah, I think we should give that guy some soap or something.
Yeah, I give him credit for doing that. I should have like, here's a soda, man, or something, an energy drink. Actually, gamers, not soda. Their thing is Monster drinks and Doritos and Mountain Dew.
Although as much as I like those products, they're very unhealthy. I do not recommend it.
No.
I do not recommend eating that crap.
I think the younger me would have done that, but the older me is drinking water and Gatorade and not trying to be a fat ass.
All right. Anyway, go on with the show. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and give our own little brief history on PlayStation and how we actually came across the brand. I'm going to hand it over to Chris because he got a really interesting story about that.
Okay, so I want to talk about how I got my PlayStation, the PS1, the first PlayStation. This was around, say, 90... Well, Resident Evil 2 came out in 98, right? 98. Yeah, this was around 98, so check it out. Initially, I was going to get a Nintendo 64, and I was picking it up at the very local, before GameStop, Game Dude, still around, great store. So I went to go buy a Nintendo 64 at Game Dude. Okay, so I purchased it, bought a game. I think the only game I bought was Wave Racer 64, which was a good game, but that's besides the point. So yeah, I got home. My cousins actually got to my grandma's house. So we got to my grandma's house, and my cousins were all there. And they're like, "Why did you buy a Nintendo 64?" I'm like, "Well, because of like Mario. They had Smash Brothers and all these other great games." But at that time, my cousin had the PlayStation. I didn't know so much about it. I didn't go to his room. He didn't really ask about it. I wanted a 64 just because of the whole kid appeal, whatever. So then my cousin's like, "Dude, you should have just bought a PlayStation. I can let you borrow my games. Or this one thing called, I can let you borrow my Burn games," which he had a chip installed. He would make the copies of the original game that he either imported from Japan. He bought his own game. He bought import games and he imported from Japan, burned them, sold them. Or, as we used to do, was go to Blockbuster, rent the game, copy it, and then return it. So that's what we did. See, I didn't know that. I just wanted to play friggin' games. So I guess they convinced me enough. I went back to Game Dude. Their policy is that you can't return or exchange. I don't know how is it now, but so I was stuck with it, and I was like, "Damn it! I should have got the PlayStation 4." I did think about it in the back of my head, but like I didn't get enough people to convince me to get it. I guess until I got the 64. So then I had an idea. Well, actually, my cousin had an idea where just take it to Sears, tell him you got it as a gift. Obviously, he didn't have a receipt because he had it as a gift. So they told me that we can return it or exchange it. So I just wanted to exchange it for a PlayStation then. But at that time, they didn't have any PlayStation. I guess holiday hit. That was the number one system a lot of people were getting. So I had to wait maybe like 3 weeks, and they told me to call if you want. Call every day. So I called pretty much like every day after I got out of school. One day I called. I called. They answered. We got the PlayStation. You want to come and exchange it? Come on down. My mom took me right to Sears. Got it. First game I got was Resident Evil 2. First game I got was that, and then I got eventually Metal Gear, which because Metal Gear came out first, then Resident Evil 2. But I started late on it. I wasn't like I never got any systems on launch day or anything like that. And then I started getting more burn games. Like I got Symphony of the Night, and I got Tekken. What else? I even had like the Alpha games burn too, which was awesome. That's how I actually got into Street Fighter. But I mean, besides the Nintendo Street Fighter, was also Alpha got me back into Street Fighter as well.
Neat story. I wish mine was as colorful as yours. Mine's a little bit darker.
It was more with regrets I had.
Yeah, like okay. Well, I didn't have any money at all when I was a kid. I mostly had to rely on my parents, and I think what eventually it actually got to my brother. Like it got to my brother that I didn't have a current gen system. This is actually back in '97. Like my PlayStation was out in '95. I didn't have any money, so I continued playing the Genesis, and I played the 32X, and playing the same, I guess, same 5 games from like '95 to when I got the PlayStation, and and it got my brother like, oh, why are you still playing that? Why are you still playing that? And I didn't know why. There was no choice. I had no choice. Those were the only games I were playing. I was mainly playing Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic 3, Super Street Fighter 2, Doom, a game called Shadow Squadron, and another 32X game. Think uh, I think it might have been Metalhead or something like that. And it was only those 5 games, and it kind of irritated my brother a little bit. So my brother somehow convinced my dad to buy me a PlayStation. But this was all behind my back, like I didn't know.
Surprise, pretty much.
Yeah,
You were getting a
this was pretty much a surprise. They kind of hinted at it, but I didn't believe them or anything like that. So I didn't believe it. And one day I was watching Married with Children on the couch. My brother goes off somewhere in the middle of the day or whatnot. When he comes back, he tosses a fully boxed PlayStation on top of me. It hits my head, slides off my head, hits my belly. I'm like bewildered, like what the hell just happened? What the hell just hit me? And I look, and it's a PlayStation, and
Do you remember the box? It was like a gray box.
it was a gray box.
And then I remember when I got my PlayStation the way back home from Sears. All I was looking at, I mean, I didn't open it. I was excited to open it. All I was looking at is the games that were. Remember that you get all the games that were coming out or that were out for the PlayStation.
Yeah,
right?
you saw the
Dude.
list on the back.
Yeah, dude. For the longest, I was mesmerized by that. I was
Yeah,
like,
you were
"Ah."
excited. I was excited. Well, the thing is, it didn't hit me that I had a PlayStation.
You're still in shock.
I was still in shock. One, because the thing hit my head.
Yeah, you're just like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, the thing hit my head. I think I held the box for a good 5 to 6 minutes before I realized that I owned the PlayStation. You know,
Yeah.
that this is mine.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, oh damn, I actually own it. I actually have a PlayStation now.
PlayStation.
A whole library of possible laundry games.
Dude, like I lived off for a bit. Like, well, I have Resident Evil 2 Metal Gear, but for a while I also lived off the demos. I
Yeah.
remember kept playing Parappa the Rapper over and over.
Oh man, I think I have a few demos still lying around
Dude, like
somewhere.
I used to love buying the PlayStation magazines and getting the demos.
Although
love that.
I have to criticize the PlayStation magazine back in the day because those magazines were expensive. Like,
Yeah, they were. They were. Yeah, they
Like-
were. I never bought them month to month. I bought them like every month.
yeah.
No, no, not even one every. I mean, like maybe one every 3 or 4 months.
You know, and
There
the
you go.
only place around here that I knew that had the magazines was the Target that we work at right now.
Oh, for me, it's because I used to live in Sun Valley, so the Ralphs, right. There was a Ralph's right near.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the worst thing, the magazines would be missing the demos half the time.
Yeah, people still, man. It'll be all crumbled up too. As well.
Yeah, and it was like, well, what the hell? Anyway, after I realized I realized I have a PlayStation, I kind of started thinking, oh damn, well what I'm gonna play? I didn't actually have any games. My brother let me borrow Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the PlayStation, which I was excited because I always wanted to play it. A week later, my dad eventually took me to Toys R Us the one located in North Hollywood, and he told me I could pick any game I want. I should have picked a better game, but at the time I was a big wrestling fan. I was way into WCW, so I bought WCW Nitro, which is probably the choppiest controls and worst kind of I'd say the worst kind of wrestling graphics at the time, but it wasn't a very good game. But I wanted it because it was wrestling and
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan. And that was that. From there on, I will save my money up. Bought a lot of PlayStation greatest hits because they were only $20.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. Like, let me kick it old school for you. Remember KB Toys?
Yeah.
Dude, I used to buy my PlayStation games there. I remember buying Gex there, Croc there, Spyro, and they were like on sale because no one was really buying those games.
Yeah.
I mean, Crash Bandicoot was probably the most popular one out of those characters, but like I remember buying those games there and loving those games. Croc, like what happened to that guy? Gex, those were just awesome games.
I think the company went out of business.
Yeah, Gex was kind of cool because he always talked crap. Yeah.
Yeah. But think about the reason why those games became cheap. Now this is what I think Sony had in mind, because making a CD I think was only 2 cents. Was only 2 cents on the dollar or something like that. It only cost 2 cents to make an actual physical disc. This is where Nintendo kind of dropped the ball when they stuck to cartridge. I think making a cartridge might have been like $10 at the time per game. So it was really difficult for retailers to actually put games on sale if they were on cartridge. I remember looking at ads at Target, and I would see, or at Walmart, I would see that the Nintendo 64 games, they would still be kind of expensive. They'll still be maybe $5 or $6 off, as opposed to the PlayStation games, which these $40-$50 games, they were sometimes selling for like $30 and $20, which was great. It was easier for me because I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and buying those greatest hits games or games on sale, buying games became real possible for me at that point.
For me, I had a few games, but then like I stopped playing, so that's why I kind of just pretty much borrowed like friends' games, or I let them borrow my games. But I mean, it took a while for me to start buying more PlayStation games. Maybe around when the PlayStation 2 came out, the games were a little more cheaper, so then I had a little bit more of them because they're easily to afford. Yeah.
Now, I gotta know, what eventually happened to your original PlayStation?
I don't know what happened. I remember having it for the longest, and I know I didn't sell it. What do Hispanic moms do with your system? Just kind of
They give it away.
they
to your
give it away,
cousins.
yeah. Usually other kind of families like wider families, I don't know, would sell it, but it's like they would pass it on to another family. But I don't know. I think that's what ended up happening without my consent.
Did he care?
I don't remember. Maybe they just did it without me. Like, hey, we just gave you a PlayStation, and then here's a PlayStation 2, just to kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what ended up happening.
Man.
I still have my PlayStation 2, but it's translucent because I changed the cover.
Nah, I knew like my original PlayStation. I knew my mom what she made me do to the Genesis was give it away to my cousins.
Yeah, see what I mean?
I knew my mom had the same idea for my PlayStation because I still had my PlayStation up until I think 2001.
You don't have it with you anymore?
My original one, no. I actually sold it to my cousins because I had a Dreamcast at that point, and that same Dreamcast you see right now.
But you don't have a PlayStation at all with you?
Original PlayStation?
Yeah. No.
No, not
okay.
anymore.
Not anymore.
I
Just the PlayStation 2 then.
Yeah, because the PlayStation 2 plays all the games. Even the PS3 plays all the PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah. So yeah, that's true.
So I didn't really. We're not really losing much there.
No.
However, at the time when I knew my cousins. I knew my mom knew I had a Dreamcast. I tried to hide it from her, but she already knew. And
Just saw a box and
And
everything.
and knowing my mom well enough, I knew she was gonna make me give it away,
The Dreamcast.
the PlayStation.
Okay.
So
Sold it.
I kind of negotiated with my cousins because they were really into it, and I said, well, if you really want it, give me, I think it said $40.
That's good.
Give me $40 and I'll give you a PlayStation and a game. And they jumped at the chance. They bought it right away. My mom kind of got pissed off at me because of it, because you're not supposed to be like that with your family.
Family,
and
you're
this and
supposed to give it
that,
a.
and I was like, nah,
You want to make a little bit of profit
yeah, and with
towards
those,
your next
yeah, well,
investment.
yeah, well, with those $40, I went ahead and bought what did I buy? I bought Cannon Spike, a Kami game I think you have yet to play, and I bought another Dreamcast game I forgot.
I still need to play that game. Cannon Spike, yeah.
Yeah, if we have time, we'll play it today.
Yeah. All right. So
Record you a big smile.
for sure. So we're still on PlayStation 1.
Well, let's move on to the PlayStation 2 now. Now the story you told me right now in the car was actually really interesting.
Should I say like business names? Because I don't want to get in trouble, or does it really matter?
Don't mention any places or names.
Okay, so cool. So what? Now we're gonna talk about how how we got our PlayStation those. PlayStation 2, honestly, no, of course, I'm a big Sony guy. I'm not like a fanboy who'll defend it. Yeah, Sony has kind of messed up with some stuff, but it's like a love and hate relationship, which I love more than half the time I hate. But PlayStation 2 came out in 2000, but like I said, I didn't get it right away. I never get any launch. I don't get any systems at launch. But I think I got the PlayStation 2 around, let's say 2002. Yeah, because I remember all the kids talking about it. Man, I got my PlayStation. I'm like, I got my PlayStation. They're talking, oh man, I'm far in this game. I'm like, dude. I mean, wow, I still have my PlayStation. So I'm like, I felt like envious. Dude. I just don't, I wanted my PlayStation 2, and I just like I begged my mom. And this time I was in high school, so I was in 11th grade, because in 2003 we finished high school. So yeah, so like I think I went over to my friend's house, and he had the PlayStation, and the game that we were playing was, I think it was like Twisted Metal Black or something. He had
Awesome game.
that
game.
one. Shit. Give me some games. Let's see.
God of War hasn't come out.
No, God of War, that was way later. Fuck, dude. I can't even think of any PlayStation 2 games right now.
What about the Metal Gear Solid 2?
Yeah, he had Metal Gear. Okay, he had Metal Gear Solid 2. What else did he have?
Anything I got over here?
No, these were early like PlayStation 2 games, mainly.
Yeah, most of my PlayStation 2 games are a little bit later. What about Ridge Racer 5? Did he have that?
Oh, Burnout.
Ah,
Another great game. Another great game that should come back. But that's besides the point. Okay, so, alright, so this is how I got my PlayStation. I got it around 2002, late 2002, almost like near the holiday. So the way I got it was that I told my mom, and my mom was going to see how she's going to get it for me. She's like, I'll let you know, okay? We'll figure something out. So what ended up happening is that my cousin had a friend that works at a store, a certain electronics store. Okay, so this store sold not only but electronics, they sold other stuff, whatever. And what he did is that my cousin's friend did what he did is that he put the PlayStation 2 inside a vacuum cleaner box. So what he did is put that in there, put the system in there. That I guess by that point it's already a stolen PlayStation 2 or whatever. I don't care, whatever. And I guess he returned the vacuum, so he got his money back. No harm, no foul. So he sold the PlayStation 2 to my cousin. My cousin bought it, and all my mom had to do was give $100 to my cousin because that's his money, and that's how I got my PlayStation 2. And I remember when I got it, my mom was like, she put it in a bag, like in a garbage bag. Here you go. And she kind of threw it at me, but on my lap. I'm like, what is this? And I remember the PlayStation 2 blue box with the PlayStation 2 logo. I was like, oh my god. I didn't have any games. Mom was like, "You don't have any games right now, but we'll get you some games later." I let my cousin probably let me borrow a game, and my friends let me borrow a game. So, and dude, like I love it because it was the fat model, and then that's when I started buying more fighting games. I remember buying. That's where I got my anniversary collection, my Alpha Anthology, Capcom vs SNK 2. That's where I became a huge Capcom fanboy, like huge. Devil May Cry, Resident Evil 2.
That's when it sparked it.
That's
right?
when it just like took over my life. Sony just took over my life.
Well, my story getting the PlayStation 2 is, I think it was along the lines. I actually hated the PlayStation 2 for a long
Because
time.
of the whole Dreamcast.
Yeah, the whole Dreamcast thing. Yeah, I've already told you this, but I guess I'll tell all of you. Of course, Dreamcast came out in '99, and the following year, the PlayStation came out.
Oh yeah,
The-
competition.
yeah, the number one reason why the Dreamcast sells is because most people were anticipating the PlayStation 2. You know, even though the Dreamcast had, in terms of ratio, had a how to say, had better games on it as opposed to crappy games in terms of ratio as opposed to the PlayStation, but that's debatable. I admit that, but in my view, I felt that Dreamcast had better games to offer. You know, Jet Grind Radio, Sonic Adventure 2, you know,
Seaman.
Street Fighter Third Strike, Project Justice, Cannon Spike,
Seaman.
Seaman. If you're into taking care of, you know, strange fish with creepy heads,
Did you say the taxi game?
Crazy Taxi,
Dude. Come on. Even the sports game were good.
I even had online. I had online before anyone else. Well, actually, if you count X-Band, that the Super Nintendo and Genesis had it first. But that's something different. You know, to me, the Dreamcast was like the best thing, but people just kept on talking about PlayStation 2, PlayStation 2. It started getting on my nerves, but I thought, you know, it's another system. You know,
What
I'll
could be
stick
so
to my
bad about it?
Dreamcast. Yeah, when the PlayStation 2 finally came out, and it didn't have enough in stock, that still didn't help the Dreamcast sell. Even that first year, if you look at the first year that PlayStation 2 came out, there weren't a lot of good games. It was mostly garbage game. You got Fantasia popped some kind of weird fireworks mini game kind of thing. I think the best game that had was Madden, and that was not even all that great compared to how NFL 2K1 looked. They're basic kind of identical. And when Sega finally announced that they were gonna kill the Dreamcast, I freaking hated the PlayStation because, one, I think they killed the Dreamcast, not because I had a DVD or faster processor or all that stuff. It killed it on name alone. And for a long time, even to this day, have a little bit of a prejudice towards the PlayStation brand name. And I was like, forget it, you know. I didn't even bother. Some time passed. I got a job. You know, all this stuff happened. I eventually I bought an Xbox One before the PlayStation 2. I got a GameCube before the PlayStation 2. I was holding off on the PlayStation.
Oh,
2.
then you were holding out for a
I
while.
was holding off for a while. I was like, I'm not gonna get that. But then again, the games started to come out. God of War came out. Twisted Metal Black came out. Various fighting games came out. The King of Fighters 2000-2001 collection came
Soul
out.
Calibur.
I don't think Soul Calibur came out on all the systems.
No, okay. Oh, but you mean like
Yeah, but like, I'm talking about the
exclusive,
exclusives.
yeah.
And I was like, man, do I really want to hold off? I started to really think about it. At some point, I decided, you know what, I might actually just buy the PlayStation because I saw Final Fantasy X, my most favorite Final Fantasy, by the way. But I saw Final Fantasy X. They were talking. I was seeing an actual RPG where they talked. Sure, they talked in RPGs before, but never in this manner. I thought, wow, this is a really good looking game. I looked at Final Fantasy X. I was like, I have to get this game. I didn't get the game when it came out. Of course, I was still holding off a little bit. Eventually, what happened was I had the money. I wanted to get it, right? But I was still kind of holding off. At work, we were going to miss sales by a few $100s. The manager at the time said, anyone that plans to buy anything, buy it now. We're close to making sales on the day. Someone just buy anything, you know, if you could afford to buy anything. And my manager comes up, are you going to get something? Are you going to get something? She would really want to make the sale. I was thinking about the PlayStation 2, but I'm not sure, you know, because, you know, I'll discount an additional $20 off if you buy the PlayStation 2.
That's pretty sweet. $20 off.
So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So you know, I got the PlayStation 2 that day, and I took it home. It came with the ATV game and the broadband adapter thing, and I thought, great, I have a PlayStation 2. And that was it. I didn't buy games for like a long time. I bought Final Fantasy X, but I didn't play it right then and there. I think it took me a little while to actually get into the PlayStation 2. Eventually, I started buying games. The games you see right now is actually part of my original collection. I haven't added any more to it.
Shit, for the longest, all I kept buying was PlayStation 2 games, even before I bought the PlayStation 3. Like, I just kept going to, you know, this is when GameStop was, like, heavily with their used games, so I bought, like, Metal Gear used. I bought, what else did I buy? The Metal Gear Solid 3. That one edition that has, it's like a green
Subsystem?
Yeah, I bought that used, and that was cool because I really wanted the MSX version of Metal Gear on the on the disc. Sorry. No, then I just started buying a lot, and I remember I got Final Fantasy. I bought what's that one series? East. Did that come out on PlayStation 2?
Yeah,
I think I remember buying East on PlayStation 2. Yeah.
Ark of Nepeshtim.
Yeah, I got those. And then, Dragon's Quest. Oh, dude, I was into buying those games on the PlayStation 2. Dragon's Quest. Killzone. Oh, that's when I got into that game, dude. Killzone was, for PlayStation 2, one of the best shooters I remember playing for the longest time on that system, man.
Although, my critique of Killzone is that they were trying to be like Halo. Somewhat, and
you gotta admit, it's a damn good game.
it's for the PlayStation 2. It's a damn good game, but the AI is ridiculously stupid.
Yeah.
I know what they were trying to do, and they were really pushing the PlayStation 2 with the Killzone game, but you know, with what they were trying to do, they couldn't pull it off.
You know what's my favorite game that I bought, but it was a Japanese game, and that's why I bought that's why I got the PlayStation 2 modified with a translucent casing. Yeah, Initial D, special stage. Oh my god, dude. Remember playing that game at the arcade at FFA? Family Fun Arcade? Dude, buying the little card and then playing the game, and then you pick the car you want. I always pick the, what's it called? Sometimes I would pick the Terreno. I had two cards, the Terreno, and then I had the EK9. The yellow EK9, because those were good for like certain corners. So it's because the Terreno was rear wheel drive, and the EK9, the Honda Civic, was front wheel drive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, like Initial D was awesome.
Yeah, that was the thing about the PlayStation 2, though. That well, with the start of the whole CD medium, that the idea of playing imports and burnt games actually started to kind of explode a little bit. I remember my brother coming in with like loads of CDs, and they were burnt games. And sometimes they would have glitches, but you know, they were full games. I don't think I even have a burnt game here.
I think the last game I got burnt was for the PS2, which was the Namco project.
Ah.
But it didn't even work. I don't think my friend burned it right, so it didn't even work at all.
Anyway, onward now. Do you have anything special to say about the PlayStation 3?
PlayStation 3 or
Yeah.
2? You mean
Well,
the 3? Because
The
we're onward
3.
to the 3. PlayStation 3. That came out. What year was that?
I forgot. 2007. No, 2006. I think.
Yeah, cause okay, yeah, it was 2000. Yeah, 2006 because Street Fighter came out in 2007.
Huh.
Yeah, like I said, another system I didn't get on launch day. Another system I didn't get on launch day. And for the longest, I didn't get the PlayStation 3. I think I got the PlayStation 3 until 2010.
That
But I'll
was
tell-
yeah. That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, that was like
then.
3 years ago. But I'll tell you, I did buy Metal Gear when it came out, and I did buy Street Fighter when it came out to give me motivation to buy it.
As in that. That's. I could tell you a few games. I think next week we're gonna do our Xbox one, but
Yeah,
you know there are some games I did that for.
yeah,
Well, go on.
yeah. So like, cause Metal Gear came out in what year did that come out? Metal Gear Solid 4.
Metal Gear Solid 4 came out in 2007.
Yeah,
I
so it
think.
was like a launch, kind of a launch. Well, okay, Metal Gear came out first, and then it was Street Fighter, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I bought Metal Gear, and I bought Street Fighter. And you know what Metal Gear I got? The collector's edition
Is
Yeah.
that the one with the?
with the Blu-ray and the well, obviously it's a Blu-ray disc with the DVD with the Blu-ray disc movie, and then the soundtrack. And it came with I still have it to this day. I love it. I bought it.
What about the actual game? You still have that?
Yeah, I still got it. I got everything, dude. And I got Street Fighter 4. So I like to call it Street Fighter Vanilla because it's the original one.
I love that.
Yeah. I didn't get the collectors on that one. But I wish I could have got the collectors. I didn't have enough money for that one, so I just got the standard one. But like I said, it took me the longest. So I had those games in on my shelf for the longest until like 2010. And this was when I was starting to work at GameStop. And I bought it with my tax money.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, and I was like debating like where should I buy it at? So I ended up buying it at GameStop, my PlayStation 3 before I worked at GameStop cuz I was like I think I was working at Hot Topic for a little bit and then I still go to school and then I went to GameStop, so I had tax money. It's like, you know what? Fuck it, dude. I'm going to buy a PlayStation 3. I want one, man. Blu-ray player. And a game that I love that I can download that my friend told me was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Because before that, I was trying to look for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the PlayStation 2. Fucking costed an arm and a leg, dude.
Yeah, you know.
Overpriced.
Yeah, the thing about that is you can easily buy the Dreamcast version and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. You know, if buying the Dreamcast version and finding a copy of it on of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the Dreamcast will actually be cheaper than buying the PS2 version.
PS2 version is still expensive.
Yeah.
I think some guy was trying to sell it to me for 200. I'm like, fuck you.
No, I have it downloaded.
It was like at a swap meet. I'm
Yeah.
like, I swear, I told him, fuck you, man. I ain't buying that shit, you overpriced motherfucker. Dude, I got mad, dude. I'm like, how
Yeah.
dare you do that?
Paid $12.99 download.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Dude, and I think I was trying to look for it at back then at the Northridge Mall. They had Sam Goody and Suncoast.
Oh,
I
miss
couldn't
those
find them
places.
there. Maybe they had them used. Blockbuster. You know how Blockbuster sold like their used games as well? Nothing. So I gave up on it. And then I went to like a swap meet. Some fucker was trying to sell it for 200. Then I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy a PlayStation 3. I'm gonna buy it, dude. I bought the Slim 120 gig. No, 160 gig. 160 gig. I have a 160 gig. First thing I bought. Well, the first games I bought obviously was Street Fighter and Metal Gear. But before I started playing them, the first thing I did was bought, downloaded and bought Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I bought it right away, started playing online, and I didn't have a fight stick at this time, so I just used the controller. Then I started playing Metal Gear. Then I bought Resident Evil 5 because I'm a huge Resident Evil guy, and I bought the gold edition. And I was trying to be a cheap ass to buy like just the standard edition. Some guy convinced me, just buy the gold edition. You get all the DLC, whatever. All right, just do it. Dude, I had those games for the longest, and until my friend told me about Arkham Asylum, dude, I fell in love with that game. Till this day, I love that series.
Yeah, I have yet to play any of the Arkham games.
Yeah. And we're still in the PlayStation 3 era right now until next gen's coming up a couple days. And I still love freaking the games they have right now. Like I have blast playing um, like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I still play Street Fighter 4 constantly. I still play Street Fighter 3, the online edition. I still play Marvel. What is it? Marvel vs. Capcom Origins.
Yeah.
Dude, Darkstalkers. Like, dude, I play all these games. Ducktales. I love all this stuff, man. I can't get rid of my Capcom games. I love those games to death. And I love how Sony and Capcom are kind of just, they kind of have like a partnership in a way during like the first PlayStation era and even the PlayStation 2 era.
Yeah, the first PlayStation sported a lot of good Capcom
Yeah, dude.
fighters. Rival Schools,
Great game.
the Mega Man
It's a
Legends
niche
series.
game, but you know, it's the ones who kind of like fighting games will like that game.
Yeah, it's a nice little spin on take on
Yeah.
things. My PlayStation 3 story I'm not going to talk about because it brings back bad memories and I kind of just want to forget. I'm just going to make up a story. A PlayStation 3 suddenly appeared out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere and it's here now.
It's
So
here now.
That's what
Point
it
is that we have the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mostly got my PlayStation 3 mostly because of I wanted to play all these JRPGs. I like my JRPGs.
Well, like I said, the main reason, I mean, obviously I knew I was going to get the PlayStation 3, but I could have took longer to buy it, dude. But, like, since I bought the Metal Gear game and Street Fighter, like, I want to fucking play these games, like, right away. But I did
Yeah.
take the games over to my friend's house so I can play at his house. But it's not the same, man. You wanted your own damn system.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of weird. The PlayStation 4. Obviously, I'm not gonna get it
Right now.
right now. I don't actually see any games I want for it. Maybe Killzone, but at this moment,
I can let David know how Killzone. Killzone's gonna be amazing. And if anything,
Yeah.
he's gonna come to my house and play Killzone. I'll buy an extra controller.
Yeah, that could happen.
It's gonna be vice versa with his Xbox One. Like I said, the only reason
Please don't mention what I'm gonna get. I would like to keep that secret as long as
alright.
possible.
That's on the next.
I'll edit it out.
All right.
But yeah. But to think PlayStation 4 is coming out. There's already 4 of them.
To a surprise, guys. I will get that one on launch day.
Yeah, that a first for Chris.
Yeah, first for me.
But now that we talked about our personal thoughts and experiences, let's talk about the kind of games we like for each individual PlayStation. Starting from the first, tell me, Chris, top 3 PlayStation 1 games.
Top 3 PlayStation 1 games right here for me.
Nostalgia goggles.
Woo! Here we go. Resident Evil 2, baby. Metal Gear Solid. And I'm also a Konami guy. I'm going with Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Strong list. Really good games.
All
There's
right.
more games, but that's just me.
Okay, I know about your Metal Gear and your Resident Evil because you consistently talk about them.
Fucking love
But
that
tell
game.
me about Castlevania. I don't hear you talking enough about Castlevania.
Dude, Castlevania. What made me get into that game? Well, okay, the first one was more of like.
We'll talk about Symphony of the Night particular because that is
Okay, why do I like Castlevania?
No, the Symphony of the Night.
Why do I like it?
Yeah.
Because it's like that horror related. It's dark. It's evil. It has Dracula. It has that horror, the whole horror theme that I love. But let alone the music is amazing in that game. It has a lot of jazz influence in there, a lot, and it has mixed with like metal, like rock metal. So, I mean, you know me, I like metal.
The clock tower stage level.
Yeah,
is
dude.
freaking awesome.
Dude, that game gets you pumped. It's like it just gets you pumped, and once you play the game, and you're just in it. Not only that, they call it the whole
Metroidvania.
Metroidvania kind of game, and it's true. I love it, and I love Metroid.
My top 3. Wow. I have to say Ridge Racer Type 4.
Nice.
Tekken 2.
Dude, Tekken is amazing.
And oh my god, this game I can't quite. Wow. The third I can't really pick. I'm gonna go ahead and say Doom.
Yeah, of course I would want to see Doom on there. Of course. All right, Doom's a good one, dude.
Yeah, I'm thinking it as when I got the PlayStation, because I look Doom right now on the PlayStation. As good as it was for its time, there's a lot of flaws with it, especially if you compare it to like Doom releases of right now.
Yeah.
But at that time, I thought it was great. I finally got like a more complete version of Doom. With Ridge Racer, it was a very arcadey, very fun game. So many different cars to unlock. Um, hidden races, very beautiful scenery as you drive. Wonderful looking cars, tight control, badass, smooth, jazzy music. It was an experience. And Tekken 2, a lot of people say Tekken 3 is their favorite when it comes to a PlayStation. Tekken 2 for me, I liked so much because it retains some of that feel from Tekken 1. And I don't know, how it sure feels kind of stiff by today's standards. But actually pulling it off and unlocking all those characters as you go along, as you continually played and pulling off the combos, to me it was great. It was one of those moments. I played Tekken 2 today, and it makes me feel like I'm 14 again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives me that good nostalgic feel.
Tekken's awesome.
Yeah. All right, top 3 PlayStation 2.
Top 3 PlayStation 2. Well, for sure it's Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I don't know if this one counts, but it's, you know, dear to my heart. It's the Anniversary Collection.
Anniversary. Oh, Street Fighter.
Yeah,
Yeah, that counts.
that counts. Yeah, because you know you got your Street Fighter 2, and you got the it had everything. It had like the Hyper Tournament Edition and everything, and you had my favorite fighting game of all time, Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, whatever you want to call it. My third game, Resident Evil 4. You know what? Resident Evil 4. I love that game. Love that game to death.
It's better on the GameCube. Though.
It is, but you know what? When I got it on the PlayStation 2, I was happy with it because it had like the extra stuff. And not only that, I was so used to playing Resident Evil on the
On the PlayStation control.
because I played Resident Evil 2. So yeah, it was a no-brainer to get it for me. So yeah, so why not? And I love Leon Kennedy. He's one of my favorite characters.
Cool. For me, it's kind of hard to pick one now. It's mostly fighters just like yours.
Of course, man. Fighters. That's what I usually play.
I would have to say for the PlayStation 2, that's. No wonder I can't find. I'll let you borrow it. It's King of Fighters.
Oh, yeah, I still have that.
2001.
Yep.
I would have to say Xenosaga
Good one.
and
The first Xenosaga.
yeah, and Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, you keep mentioning that one.
Yeah, the thing is with these are basically really recent releases because I really didn't start getting into my PlayStation 2 until recently when I of course you see like a sizable collection here, but that's mostly because they were inexpensive and on clearance. But yeah, recently I started playing my PlayStation again and kind of really got an idea of what was my favorite games. Xenosaga because I like the whole anime sci-fi look, and it's a really big world. It looks like it could go anywhere, but you're still following a linear path. But I like the story with the cosmos and all that. Final Fantasy X, I freaking love. I don't know what's about that game. They started talking, has a very touching, sad story, beautiful orchestral music, a lovable cast of characters. I know it sounds kind of cheesy how I'm saying this, but you know, if you could get past all the bad voice acting, underneath you find a wonderful game that tells a deep, exciting story. And what was the last one I picked? Oh yeah, King of Fighters, because I'm a big King of Fighter guy, and it kind of ended the NES saga in 2001. and I wanted to play it. Has updated graphics. The music stays the same, but the graphics have been touched up a little bit, and that's what I liked about it.
Nice.
Okay, now I don't know if it's still too soon to say, but I think we could honestly give our
Top three.
top three PlayStation 3 games, right?
Yeah, I could do that.
All right.
Alright.
Go ahead and start us off.
All right, my top 3 PlayStation 3 games. One, of course, it's always gonna be on there, Metal Gear. So Metal Gear Solid 4. Second one is another reason why I kind of like shooters. It's Killzone 2. You have to say Killzone 2 is a great game. And then my third one, damn it, dude. Like I said, I love the Batman series. I love that game. I'm gonna go with the first Batman, Arkham Asylum. Love that one.
Nice, nice. Now I know you're a big Batman fan, so let's start off with that one. What draws you to that game so much?
Well, there always hasn't been a great Batman game.
The one on the
They're all debatable.
Well, the NES one is pretty badass. You gotta admit.
Yeah, you know, Batman, like, he's so small with the little pointy ears and he shoots a gun. That's what he does in the game, right?
No, he punches.
He punches?
He
I remember he
punches.
shoots stuff. Oh, it's his Batarang.
Yeah, that's his batarang.
Okay. Well, honestly, when I was a little kid,
Well,
I-
you didn't. I'm guessing you didn't have access to the original Batman games, right?
no, I didn't. Like, I think the only Batman game I had was the one on the Game Boy, which was the NES port.
Uh huh.
Yeah. So I had that. That's the only game I had. But you know what? As a little kid, I grew up with Batman. I remember watching the Adam West show, the Adam West Batman. And then my dad always tells me to this day, when you were a little kid, you used to always sing that one song, na 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 Batman. And Batman's just been there for me. Like watching Michael Keaton Batman, Holy Nipple Batman, freaking George Clooney and Val Kilmer. But I must admit that Val Kilmer played a better Batman than George Clooney.
Yeah, I haven't seen those movies in a long time, so I can't really say.
Yeah, but so like I was just more of a Batman fan than the whole DC universe. I love DC, but I'm a big Marvel guy to the day I die. But I remember when my friend told me about Arkham, the Arkham series, and I bought that game. And I was just like, dude, I gotta pass this game. So good. Like, you're in the asylum. You need to get out. You need to get the Joker. You gotta fight different guys. You fought Croc. Who else do you fight? Bane. Bane was cool. Croc was cool because, like, he just, like, popped out of the sewer, like, out of the water, and he started just chasing you. And you had to dodge and everything. And then the whole detective mode made me feel like a freaking, kind of like a ninja. In a way, because Batman is like a ninja, if you think about it. I think he got trained by the
Shadow something.
the League of Shadow,
Oh,
the League of Assassins, the League of Assassins,
no, I think League of Shadows.
League of Shadows.
League
Yeah,
of Assassins, I think, is something that the Green Arrow's involved in.
yeah, League of Shadows. He did got trained by those guys, and those guys were ninjas. So, well, anyways, but yeah, I love the Batman games, and I love this new game, Arkham Origins, just because Deathstroke comes out in it, and he's another underrated character.
Anyone that reads the Batman comics know that Deathstroke beats the living shit out of Batman several times. He just doesn't kill him because he's not being paid to kill Batman.
His moral integrity. Yeah.
All right. What was your second game?
It's Killzone 2.
Now, you must have played Killzone 3, right?
Yeah.
All right. Why Killzone 2 instead of 3?
2 was pretty much what made the multiplayer, because I did have Killzone, the first Killzone, but I didn't play the multiplayer just because I didn't do the whole broadband thing. I didn't do the whole network connectivity. I remember getting Killzone 2 and just playing that game online and just having like a good time. It's a lot different than Call of Duty, Battlefield. It's different because you got different classes in the game. You can cloak. You're an engineer, kind of meta kind of style. You can be the ISA or the Hellgas, and that was pretty cool. But that game, like, for the longest, I played online. My friends and I just had a great time with that game. Killzone 3 was good. It was cool. I liked it, but to me, it's always gonna be Killzone 2. But what I'm hearing is this new Shadows Fall is just
Blowing both out of the water.
yeah. And I love Killzone. I love the whole style of, like, they're like Nazi kind of guys. We think it's
Space Nazis.
space Nazis, yeah. And they look pretty badass. Like their helmets that they wear.
You ever see that one video of some guy dressed as a Hellgas in the I think the Santa Monica Studios or something,
No.
and he's just standing there, and people think it's like a statue, and then he starts moving and freaks some people out. Yeah, you gotta look that up on YouTube.
I'll check it out.
And your third and final game was Metal Gear, right?
Yeah, Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid 4.
What would you say was so unique about that Metal Gear that it has to be in your top 3?
Actually, it was probably the hardest out of the from like the Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3. It took me the longest to pass. You couldn't pick up any weapon right away. You had you had to unlock the weapon. The whole kind of like the whole camouflage. You know how you can like lay down and that was pretty cool. But that's when we got introduced to Raiden being more of a fucking badass.
Yeah, because they felt he was kind of a sissy and.
Think about it. It was like a movie. The whole like Metal Gear was like a whole movie. But when he came out, he was super badass, dude. He just kicked some major ass.
Slicing arms, legs.
Yeah, dude. Cyber Ninja, dude.
Cool. My top 3. Wow, this is gonna be really, really obscure.
Go for it.
I love the obscure.
Niche games.
Yeah, they're niche. The reason I love my PlayStation 3 is because there's all these niche titles that no one ever plays. First one, Hyperdimension Neptunia 1. It's basically the consoles manifested in anime girls and they're fighting each other. And the one that's manifested as the supposed Sega console gets knocked out, because you know how Sega was knocked out of the console race.
Yeah.
And then it's basically her forgetting and then kind of remembering who she is, and all these goofy things happen. There's some sexual innuendo, skirt shots, things like that. Funny anime thing. I love it. It's a very badly poorly made game, but the things that they imply, I just love it so much. It got this charm to it. Another one, Hatsune Miku Project Diva F.
I knew that was gonna be on this list.
I freaking love Hatsune. She's so adorable. All these crazy songs. Basically, you're playing music videos and you're just tapping along. If they put DDR pads into this game,
You'd probably buy it for
I would
sure.
probably buy it. It's so many different music videos. My favorite one, Black Rock Shooter's in there. I love it. You can unlock all sorts of content like extra costumes, extra rooms. You could give her gifts, play miniature mini games. But the main draw is the actual music videos that's in there, composed by various Japanese and a few European and American.
Didn't it come out with a Vita version, or
There was a Vita version.
It's coming out. I think it's coming out pretty soon.
There was a Vita version released in Japan. I actually have that here.
I think the North America version is coming out.
Yeah, and in North America is gonna get one. I think
You're gonna
in
get that one too?
February. I'll probably get it if they make some kind of cross compatibility where you could transfer.
That'd be cool.
stuff.
I'm sure.
I'll get it. And my last one, I can't really say. I don't think I have one. All right, I'll go with Valkyria Chronicles. My voice is going out on me. This was actually Valkyria Chronicles, actually made by some of the same people that did Phantasy Star 2 and 4 on the Sega Genesis, and it really shows. If you look at some of the character designs, it does share some certain similarities. It takes place in a fictional Europe in a fictional World War II setting, and it's basically a miniature strategy RPG where you got to command your units. Haven't played the full game yet. I'm only halfway through, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and it has a pretty interesting story and an interesting take on World War II. Whew. Wow, we were talking for a while. We've got, what, 52 minutes?
Yep.
And, well, that's it. Any parting words, Chris?
No, just can't wait for the PlayStation 4, and we got Killzone and Marvel Lego Superheroes coming up, and then I'm really excited towards the next Metal Gear game. Hopefully another fighting game for the PS4. Thinking something Street Fighter related. Capcom been teasing something about Street Fighter for the PS4. Evil Within, same guy who made Resident Evil 4.
Hmm.
Shinji Mikami.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
I think his last major directorial
Yeah.
game.
This has a lot of influence towards that game, and I don't know, whatever else is Infamous, really excited about that, but I don't know, dude. I'm excited, and yeah, I can't wait.
Well, I got nothing to say.
But David will get one eventually.
I will eventually get a PlayStation.
He's gotta get one.
4.
He's gonna get one.
If the next Hyperdimension Neptunia and
I think regardless, he will get it eventually. Just
there has to have games like
there
well,
will be games. You just don't know.
Maybe later down the line,
Yeah.
sometime next year perhaps.
It's gonna be the same thing for me later. I'll get the Xbox eventually.
After a price drop and another Hatsune game come out. By the way, a new Hatsune arcade game's coming out that has that's on the Sega Ring Edge hardware.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be very similar. Oh, it's called a Ring White. It's supposed to have specs similar to the PlayStation 4, so it won't be really that difficult to port that game over.
Yeah.
So who knows if that ever comes out on PlayStation 4, I might even consider it, or consider it more. Anyway, I think we've talked enough. My voice is starting to hurt. I would talk about the PSP and PS Vita, but I'm gonna save that for another time. Anyway, this is David from Calling All Gamers, telling you to have a good one.
This is Chris. Sayonara, suckers.